The early 1900s was a chaotic period in the history of Yemen. During this period, the north of Yemen was ruled by the tyrannical king known as Yahya Hamiduddin, and the south was occupied by the British. The Yemeni people were hungry for freedom, independence, and justice. Muhammad Mahmud al-Zubayri was a revolutionary that challenged all the powers of his time. Muhammad al-Zubayri was born in the year 1910 in northern Yemen, which was ruled by the king Yahya Hamiduddin. During the rule of King Hamiduddin, poverty and famine was widespread, and anyone who spoke out against the king was either imprisoned or killed. In 1939, Muhammad al-Zubayri left Yemen and went to study in Egypt. During his time in Egypt, al-Zubayri was influenced by the ideas of revolutionaries such as Hassan al-Banna. After completing his studies in Egypt, Muhammad al-Zubayri returned to Yemen and began speaking out against King Hamiduddin and his unjust regime. Muhammad al-Zubayri called for a revolution, and he wanted Yemen to be ruled by a constitution and not a king with absolute power. Al-Zubayri would often deliver anti-government speeches at mosques. After a famous speech which he delivered during a Friday sermon in the great mosque of Sana'a, Muhammad al-Zubayri was thrown into prison. After his release from prison, al-Zubayri fled to the city of Aden in the south of Yemen, which was ruled by the British at the time. During his time in the south, Muhammad al-Zubayri established his own political party known as the Ahrar Party. The party called for a constitution, equality, and justice. Al-Zubayri also began a newspaper known as the Voice of Yemen. However, his party was soon shut down by the British authorities in Aden due to pressure from the king in the north and because of his anti-British speeches and writings. Eventually, in 1948, al-Zubayri went back to the north to participate in the revolution against King Yahya. This revolution against King Yahya Hamiduddin was successful and managed to overthrow his regime. After the revolution, a constitutional government led by Abdullah bin Ahmed al-Wazir was established, and Muhammad al-Zubayri was appointed the Minister of Education. However, the new constitutional government was short-lived and was overthrown by the supporters of the previous monarchy who were backed by Saudi Arabia. Muhammad al-Zubayri was forced to leave Yemen. However, all Arab countries refused to grant him asylum. Therefore, he chose to take refuge in Pakistan. Muhammad al-Zubayri returned to Yemen in 1962 after the revolution which was led by Abdullah al-Salal against King Ahmed Hamiduddin. Upon his return to Yemen, Muhammad al-Zubayri received a legendary reception and was appointed as the Deputy Prime Minister. However, al-Zubayri soon became opposed to the Republican government as he realized that it was a puppet of the Egyptian regime and was leading Yemen towards a civil war. Therefore, Muhammad al-Zubayri resigned from his position as Deputy Prime Minister and began speaking out against the government. He spoke out against corruption and called for the withdrawal of the Egyptian army from Yemen. Muhammad al-Zubayri once again became an enemy of the government. Al-Zubayri created a new political party known as Hizbullah and attempted to unite the north and south of Yemen against the Egyptians and their puppets. Thousands of people joined his new party, and al-Zubayri was able to gain the support of many Yemeni tribes who had been marginalized by the new Egyptian-backed government. On March 31st, 1965, Muhammad al-Zubayri was assassinated while he was giving a speech in front of a large crowd. He was shot by government agents and he died a martyr. The legacy of Muhammad al-Zubayri is a legacy of unity, freedom and justice. Al-Zubayri was opposed to tribalism and sectarianism and wanted to unite the North and the South under one banner. Muhammad al-Zubayri wrote many books, including collections of his poetry and his famous book entitled The Deceptions of Arab Politics.